Hey, we're the Flick Chicks. I'm Anne.
And I'm Monica, and this is the podcast where two college girls have very strong opinions about movies.
Oh, yes, we do. Controversy.
So today's episode is going to be fun. We're going to do a little fun thing. So if you haven't already guessed from the title, we're going to be talking about movies that we hate that other people love, and vice versa, movies that we love that other people hate.
Mm-hmm. And by hate would be
hate is a loosely used word,
but it's like not critically acclaimed. We don't think it's, or either we don't think it's good, or the audience / critics don't think it's good. That would be considered hate.
And I don't know about Anne. Anne has hates these movies with a passion.
Oh yes.
However, mine, I don't really hate movies. Like, I feel like it's rare for me. Like, I feel like I can appreciate something in every movie, whether it could be the worst movie ever, but I'll find something to appreciate about it.
Yeah.
So for me, these like hate, quote unquote hate, it's more just like movies I just don't really enjoy watching that much.
But we're going to get right into it. So we're going to be naming the movies, and we'll tell you if we hate, love, whatever, how we feel about them. So let's go.
Okay, so the first one, we're going to start with the movies that we hate that other people love. Mm-hmm. And this first one we're starting with because we both have the same opinion and we have the same one.
So that's why we're soulmates. So.
Exactly. So we're starting with La La Land. La La Land is a movie that we hate that other people love.
Yes.
So again, like I said, I don't really hate movies.
I do.
But this movie is interesting. It was very critically acclaimed. Won a bunch of Oscars.
Loved this movie.
It made a lot of money.
Yeah.
People love it.
I paid money, which I regret.
I paid a lot of money actually. I watched it in this historic theater in Hollywood.
Whoa.
So we paid $20 something US dollars to watch it. So
I paid the Tuesday special. But
yeah. I mean, personally, when I saw it in theaters, I was fine with it. I didn't hate it at first. Mm-hmm. But it's just bland. It's just a bland movie.
No, I came out of the movie, I didn't have a certain feeling towards it, but I was like, this was lame. That's how I felt, right?
It was
the hate started when people were telling me that it was good, and I was like, excuse me? Did we watch the same movie?
My mom loves this movie.
Oh my.
She's she loves it. Mm-hmm. And I don't, like I said, I don't hate it. It's just I love movie musicals. That's my thing.
Same. That's why I was so upset.
And on the list of good movie musicals,
it's probably
not even close. It's just it's bland. When you're making a movie musical, the music, it has to be on par, and it really was not.
And they also casted people who couldn't sing.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
And the characters, I feel like the characters were really not relatable. Mm-mm. I was just I didn't feel bad for them. No. I kind of was just okay, I don't know what to tell you, girl.
The movie failed to make me believe that they deserved fame or anything. I was
they were just irritating characters, especially when they were together. Their whole relationship just was annoying.
Okay, everyone wants to be famous. What makes you special? I needed to see that, and I didn't. Mm-hmm.
Also, some parts were even cringy to me. The part. I can't even watch the scenes where she does her one woman show. I get such bad secondhand embarrassment.
That's the part where I was you're gonna go from her bombing a one woman show to trying to convince me that she deserves to be a Hollywood star. I was you should usually in movies where people the underdog makes it, they show you how good this person is, and I was what?
And I just feel again, back to the songs, anytime you have movie musicals, I want to be singing. I want to go home and listen to the soundtrack
and buy it.
And the only songs I remember all of them, but the only ones that I would listen to is that one in the beginning, because it doesn't include Emma Stone, or the one
the song car song?
The one where they're in the cars on the highway.
I didn't even think that was that catchy. It was not catchy either to me.
And it was it's not even that. I don't even I couldn't even sing it. I couldn't even say it off the top of my head right now.
An opening song, you need to draw the people in, so they know that this is a show, man.
Yeah, it's just very pretentious.
The only song I liked, honestly, was the piano where they're not singing, which is
whatever.
No, not that. That's City of Stars. You always sing that.
Oh my god, I'm sorry.
Girl,
I don't know which one you're talking about then.
the
instrumental
it's
piece.
Mia and Sebastian's theme. That's
gotcha. Yeah, no. And honestly, I kind of hated it how that one song actually that John Legend sang.
Oh yeah, it was supposed to be the bad song.
It was supposed to be the bad song, but it was the good song. It was and she was so disgusted. She's how can you do this? It was just, I don't know.
I was are we learning anything? Is he learning to not be a sellout? I guess. Do you not want this man to make money?
I just it's not my favorite. I have very high standards for movie musicals, and
it got on Rotten Tomatoes. It got a 91, and 80% of audiences liked it on Rotten Tomatoes, and 85% liked it on Google, even though Google's probably not that accurate because people who like the movie are the ones who are going to go like it.
Right, that's
Rotten
true.
Tomatoes.
That's true. Rotten Tomatoes people will be ruthless.
Yeah,
that's why we
will.
included both, just to be sure. But yeah, no, I think La La Land in general, we both. It's such an irritating movie.
It is. So what grade would you give La La Land?
I mean, like I said, I don't think it's a bad movie. Like, the cinematography is cool. Like, the use of, like, colors and the aesthetic, I guess, is nice. So, I mean, I'd maybe give it, like, a B-.
That's actually the exact same grade I would give it. If it had good songs, it could have been an A- for sure.
I was going to say, I would bump it to a B+ if the songs were good.
Yeah.
But the songs were not
like
good.
The characters,
if a movie musical, if your songs aren't good, like, what else do you have going for you?
Because the songs will make me forgive a lot. Like, I will be like, oh, but the songs are good.
Like, so I'll give it, you know, it has some not iconic, but like some really memorable scenes, like the one where they're dancing up on like Griffith Park. Yeah. Like they're doing a little tap dance sequence.
Yeah.
The part where like the ending scene, or the one where they're dancing, they're like ballroom dancing into like the stars or whatever.
I thought that was weird, but
it was weird. But I mean, I'll give it to them that it's memorable. Like I remember them, so I mean, I'll give it that. But yeah, if your songs aren't good, it's a B-.
Yeah, it's a B-, and also it's like the plot wasn't strong enough to carry the movie because, like, to be honest, not much happens in general in the movie, really. So if you don't have like super likable characters and your plot is very simple, like the thing you need to carry it is amazing songs, which I did not.
Exactly.
And like outperforming singers, like I feel like if they were good singers,
like they're not really good singers either, so it's like meh. Anyways, I think we should move on. So
they should have made John Legend the guy, and then
that would have been good.
And then found him like Ariana Grande made a song with him. Just put her in that music. Okay, just do it.
Anyways,
she's not an actress. Oh, she is actually. I'm stupid.
She started as an actress.
Exactly.
All right, moving on. Okay, so this one is my next pick. I'm telling you right now, my picks are going to be pretty controversial. And I'm not on purpose. I'm not someone that likes being controversial, but
She does it all the time, though. But
I have controversial opinions.
All the time.
Okay, so this is one of my movies that I, like I said, very lightly dislike. I'll just say, like, I just didn't enjoy it. That obviously a lot of people liked. And it's Avengers Endgame. Anne's like having a breakdown because she like loves Marvel movies, and I feel like I'll mention this a lot in this podcast, like in general, but I'm not like a Marvel fanatic. I've watched like the main ones, like I've watched the first Avengers, I've seen like Black Panther, Captain Marvel. I'm trying to think of another one.
People are going to discount
Infinity War.
This.
I've seen a couple. Like I've seen a good amount. Like what's it called? Spider-Man: Homecoming. Like, you know what I mean? Like the main ones, the ones that people who aren't Marvel fans will go and watch. I've seen those. And I watched Infinity War. I loved Avengers: Infinity War.
It was very good.
It was so good. I loved the story. Like, as someone who didn't really understand the story that much, I felt like it was still a really enjoyable movie.
You were supposed to understand Infinity War. You're just supposed to cry.
I love the whole Infinity War. Like, the whole concept of the movie is like, okay, we're collecting the Infinity Stones. Like, it's like this big thing, and I loved it. But Endgame, I was so excited. I watched it. I watched like a midnight showing or something like that. It was it was 11 p.m. It was super late, and I was so hyped up, and I'm like ready. But like, it was just like, I was a little bit disappointed. Just a little, just slightly. I was like, first of all, they made it so long for no reason. Other than just like the hype of being like, oh my God, this movie's 3 hours long. It's going to be so epic. There were so many scenes in there that I felt like they were not necessary. Like the whole part where Captain America's like going to like a support group, and like the scene where they're in the diner.
I completely disagree with the support group. You need to show how people are coping. That's exactly what
my brother said to me. I remember in the car on the way back.
Any person would say that.
In the car on the way back, my brother loves Marvel. My brother's like a super big Marvel fan. On the way,
that's not a Marvel thing. That's just a normal person thing. I was telling him,
no, I was just like, this is boring. Like, you know what I mean? I just found it boring.
The scene wasn't that long. It was like 2 minutes.
No, but I'm just thinking of like little parts where I'm just like, okay, I feel like these are just like filler scenes. There was a scene where they're with the Hulk in the diner. It was kind of funny, but like, I'm like, what?
Yeah,
what was the point of this?
Give you that.
You know what I mean? I was like, what is the point of this scene? Like, some of the scenes just seemed like they were just there to fill in this like idea of like, oh, it has to be 3 hours or whatever long. Like, I felt like if it was a little bit more concise, I feel like it would have kept me on the edge of my seat more.
Support group though, I'm sorry.
And also, I think it's a crime that they didn't put Black Panther was only in there for like 2 seconds.
Well, he disappeared.
But like, still, he should have.
All the black people disappeared.
He literally just showed up with like with Zuri and I forgot the guard's name.
Because he's gonna get 4 other movies. They're not afraid.
I guess, but I was like, okay, come on. And like, I don't know. I guess I was just like, and also, oh my God, this is the thing I hated the most about it. the whole time travel aspect. I hate time travel in general. Anytime any movie uses time travel, I'm like, stop, because like it's so confusing and so arbitrary, and every time travel movie can have different rules that it just gets so annoying. And it's like, okay, what are your rules here? Like, just set your rules and follow them. Like, I don't understand how Captain America was able to go back in time and live an entire life and then come back. Like, that to me just doesn't make any sense. I could go on and on about this. Like, I could go into the whole details of like, you know, the space-time continuum, but I'm not going to. It just didn't make sense to me. And I remember specifically, like, I was making my whole case to my brother about it, and he was like, well, it doesn't matter, like, that's just what it is. I'm like, exactly, it doesn't make sense how he could go and, because if he goes and lives his whole life, does he branch off into a new reality and live that life but then come back somehow? Does he live this whole life separate from his own life? So like, how, if he lives this different life, then that means he never became part of the Avengers, which means they never were able to save the cities and what, like, you know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense. Anyways, I'm getting a little heated.
I'm being quiet because I have to be. So
yeah, so that's basically my thoughts on Avengers Endgame. Also, in general, I just wouldn't really rewatch it. It's too long. I'd rather just skip to, like, I'd rather just watch the big fight scene at the end. I like that part. It was good. But Infinity War, I would fully watch the entire movie over. I've watched it a couple times now, and I haven't watched Endgame again. So yeah, that's just me.
Well, what grade would you give the movie?
I'm not mean. Like, I'd give it like a B+. B+, slight A-, maybe. I would give Infinity War like an A, but I would give Endgame like a B+.
Yeah.
A-.
I think, yes, from a teacher standpoint, Infinity War is like a better movie. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're talking film. Like,
yeah, like the plot is so captivating.
But I fundamentally disagree with especially the part where you said the support group. That's just... That's completely
I just remember sitting there for like the first hour of the movie being like, I'm a little bit bored.
I feel like that's not the scenes that needed to be cut. But
anyways...
what else do I have to say? I loved it, so I don't know what else to say. You know what?
This episode is very like opinion based.
If I were to give it a grade, I mean, my biased self is gonna keep it at where it's at. Oh, by the way, I should say what they got on. So,
right.
The movie received 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. Audience gave it 90%. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's what I'm saying. I'd give it, like, if I was a Rotten Tomatoes like score, I'd give it maybe like an 80.
Yeah, so honestly, yes, I agree with you.
I don't think it deserves a 94.
If I was like an 80, if I'm actually
75 to 80.
No, if I'm being an actual critic, I would give it an 84 because I'm nice. Mm-hmm. But if it's like my heart is speaking, A+. Like, it's not even.
Oh, that was one thing I wanted to say too, where it's like I felt like it was very, like, obviously I can't blame them for this, but just they put a lot of things in specifically like for the fans.
Well, yeah,
which is fine, but
because it's not, no offense, it's not for you. Like, it's literally,
but it should be. If you're gonna make a big 3-hour epic long movie, it should be for people.
I don't think it should be, because that's the ending of the entire saga. So it's like, I don't need, that's like saying like, oh, you're watching the third movie and it's for everyone. It's like, no, actually, if it's the third movie of a series, you should have watched the
I don't know.
ones.
I think for me, like I said, I'm not like a non-fan. I've watched a bunch of Marvel movies before. I don't know. This is just what I remember thinking after walking into the theater. I just remember thinking like, I don't know. I didn't really feel as connected to it as I did for Infinity War.
No, I would give it an A- because I completely agree that the Captain America thing is completely confusing.
It does not make sense.
Actually, I came out upset because, you know, I'm Team Iron Man till the death.
Oh,
so I was like, so Iron Man's gonna orphan his little daughter, or no, it's not orphan. Sorry.
I feel like I had more fun in the theater.
What?
Watching Infinity War than I did in Endgame. Because you know how, like, obviously you go in the theater and everyone's like,
no, I agree.
Whatever.
Because
I feel like Infinity War, it was like, everyone's reactions were so like, oh my god.
Infinity War had like, so many fights in Infinity War, and I think Infinity War, you didn't know what was gonna happen. Endgame, you obviously knew they were gonna come back.
What was gonna happen.
You didn't. You know I didn't know that Tony was gonna have a kid. I really didn't see that coming at all.
Yeah.
Because that's not even like no one from the comics was really bringing that. I mean, I know there's like different alternate universes, but there's that for every single superhero where they have kids, they do all this kind of stuff. The Black Spider-Man, like there's things from all types of comics, but I just didn't see it coming out of the woodworks like that. But sorry if you heard Monica's mic.
I just
fall.
whacked my mic. I'm so sorry. Anyways, okay.
But we gotta move on. We gotta move on.
So that's just my opinion on Endgame.
I love you. I love you 3000.
See, like I was gonna say, it's an iconic movie. However,
yes,
not the best in my opinion. Okay, this next one
is me.
Anne is gonna. Oh, we're doing you. Oh yeah. Sorry, I wasn't following that order.
Yeah.
The next one is a movie that Anne does not like.
I don't like this movie.
That people like.
It's The Breakfast Club. Mm-hmm. Listen to me here.
Oh wait, first we'll do the rating. So
yes,
on Rotten Tomatoes it has 89%. Audience score is 92.
Yeah, so I feel like this rating was done.
It's universally acclaimed.
Yeah, this movie was done in 1984, and clearly the critics stopped doing stuff after 1984, and there's no question after. Okay, I don't even know if it was 1984. I'm just saying
it's
that
1980 something.
Yeah, whatever.
Is it John Hughes?
It is.
Yeah,
I already have a problem with him.
Yeah,
I haven't liked any of his movies. You can name a single one. I haven't liked it. I didn't like it.
I don't think they're supposed to be like good movies. I think they're supposed to be just like of the time.
Yeah. Well, I didn't like it.
I'll let you do your.
I didn't like it because the thing is, I wouldn't bring this up if people weren't still talking about it, though. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if people were like, "Oh, that was a good movie in the '80s," I would be like, okay, whatever. I guess I'm not an '80s person. But it's like people to this day. These little hipster kids like to act like they like this movie, and I'm like, are you watching the same thing I'm watching? Because I see nothing good. Okay, what even is this movie? The characters, are they relatable to you? Shut up, they're not. The only relatable part about them is that they're in detention, maybe, if anything. Okay, They don't act normal. Nothing happens in this movie, and I know it's trying to be a slice of life, but it really isn't, because they don't go deep into the characters. Like, all they know is like, I messed up. They're literally the movie's the personification of the Riverdale quote we always talk about. I'm a weirdo. I don't fit in.
Yeah.
I don't want to fit in. That's literally the entire movie. Okay, girl gets bullied for being a virgin. I don't understand that. Are we gonna not talk about that? But let's just go over that.
Anyway,
like the man is her supposed love interest, yells at her till she cries. It's like, oh, my superhero, I'm gonna love him. What are we watching? Also, I don't understand any of the couples in the movie, actually. I was like, I did not need to see any of these people together.
I don't know why they had to. I wish they would have just not have had couples at the end. Like, I wish they all just would have been friends.
I feel like I would have preferred that 100%. Big thing, the biggest crime of this movie. You're going to laugh at what it is. The makeover scene.
Oh, no.
They made her look worse. She was cute before. Yep. She was a little grunge. Like, that's in now, you know? But they made her look frou-frou, little pretty pink. I hated it. I was like, what kind of makeover? And he's like, oh, now she's pretty. Now I can bring her home to my white parents. Like, what?
My God.
What was this? Like, I hated it. That's just how I feel about it. What grade would I give it? Bruh, I don't even know. I was supposed to rewatch this movie for this podcast. I couldn't bring myself to do it.
She's like, I couldn't. I'm sorry.
I couldn't. I watched this the first time I watched this movie. I watched it over days.
I watched a little bit at a time.
Yes,
I think I've only seen it maybe like twice, maybe once. I think
and
I only watched it because it was like in Pitch Perfect. It's like the whole part of the plot.
I'm pretty sure
that's the only reason why I watched it.
And people who like Breakfast Club are probably choking me right now because they're like, you watched it because it was in Pitch Perfect.
Yes, I did. Pitch Perfect was a cultural
better.
But Pitch Perfect was a cultural reset.
Yes.
Okay.
It brought back your stupid movie.
Like, we should make a whole episode just on like how iconic Pitch Perfect was.
I love Pitch Perfect.
No matter if you think it's a good movie or not, you can't lie that movie made waves.
I love Pitch Perfect.
I love the first one.
That's gonna be, that's what duh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that. We should put that on the list.
I think I've watched the original Pitch Perfect like at least 37 times.
I watched it on Valentine's Day. That's
no lie. 37 times I think. I counted.
Wow.
Anyways,
the grade I would give it.
Yeah.
A C+.
I could see
I'm just pulling it out of nowhere because I feel no ways about this movie. I'm going to give it C+, and I'm doing that because nostalgia for some people.
And the soundtrack.
Is good.
Don't you?
Yeah. See how I told you? You got it to a C+ because of soundtrack.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of whatever about it too. I'm like, it's not, I've watched it maybe once or twice. All I think of it is like that part of Pitch Perfect, how it's like a whole reference. Not interested.
All I know is the fist bump. That's the coolest thing.
Yeah, and like someone gives somebody an earring at the end.
Yeah, she gives it to him. Molly Ringwald gives
Bad Boy. It's just an 80s movie, you know, you can't really.
Yeah, I ain't with it. It wasn't that good.
Anyways, next one is a movie that I hate. I'm gonna be saying this all the time. I don't like that people seem to like, and is gonna literally choke me right now. So my movie is Up. I don't like Up. I just don't. And there's a couple reasons why. Don't get me wrong, it's a great movie. Pixar movies are known for being, emotional, teach you lessons about life and whatnot. What is that?
That's the theme at the beginning.
See,
of the
song. I don't know. Okay. So it's probably one of the least favorite Pixar movies that I've seen that I remember. Like, obviously, there's a couple that I probably only watched once when I was a kid. Those don't really count. But out of other Pixar movies, it's just my least favorite. I think I've watched it twice, maybe. I watched it in theaters when it came out, maybe once after that. But it's not a movie that I actively will be like, oh my god, I want to watch Up. No, thank you. I feel like there's a line between sad and emotional and just straight up depressing. Why do I need to watch 10 minutes of this guy living his whole life with this woman only for her to die? Like, no.
That's how life is.
And I don't want to think about that.
They were old. It's not like she just died out of nowhere.
And that's not something I like to be reminded of, I don't like to be reminded that our time is fleeting on this earth.
Sorry that Pixar made you feel something, so.
But see, I don't mind that. I was just about to bring up the fact that I don't mind being emotional by Pixar movies. I've told you this before. I watched Inside Out. And Inside Out hits you. Like, it really hits you, and it makes you sad. But I love that because it's like, it makes sense. Like, it's sad, looking inside yourself, whatever. But I feel like Up is just like, nah, we're gonna make them extra sad, and I'm like, I can't do that. It's just too depressing for me. And then it just ruins the whole rest of the movie for me because it's like this whole time he's like this old man. Like, I just like bitter, like, old people characters. I just don't like in general. And the fact that he's the focus of the movie just kind of like bothers me. This is just my personal opinion. Obviously, like, some people like to be depressed and like to be sad and whatever, and I like sad movies, don't get me wrong. But I just feel like it's just too. Also, the plot in general just seems a little forgettable to me. I guess the whole thing about them he goes up in the balloons and then they go to whatever and he meets the Boy Scout. The Boy Scout kid's annoying. Leave me alone.
I guess you hate Asian representation, but whatever.
Shut up. Let's not get into that. And the dog is cute though. I like the dog.
The dog was more annoying than the kid.
No, I love the dog. Anyways, yeah, the plot is just a little forgettable to me. I honestly don't even remember what happens. I had to reread the Wikipedia description because I'm like, what even happens in that movie? But yeah, to me, it's just really depressing. And I just don't, I understand why it's a great movie, but also at the same time, I'm like, was it that exciting? I don't know. That's just me. Grade, I would give it, again, I can totally, we didn't mention this. Rotten Tomatoes, 98%. Ooh, that's a hefty score. And audience score was 90%. I would probably give it, if I'm giving it a letter grade, maybe like an A-, B+. Just on my personal opinion. If I'm looking at it objectively, I would give it like an A. Like, I understand it's a great movie. It did waves for Pixar or whatever, but me, probably B+. Because I just won't, I don't even, like, I don't want to watch it. Like, if someone says, let's watch Up, I'm like, no, why? Like, why would you want to watch that? Yeah, that's me.
So, what makes a movie great? Not always its rewatchability, okay?
That's a big factor for me, though.
Because if I was going to say that, I would say the same thing about Parasite. Am I going to watch that again? Probably not.
Oh, see, that's the difference. Yeah, I've watched Parasite a bunch of times. But it's not that, it's sad, but in a different way, where it's like, it's sad because it makes you look inside yourself and whatever. But
no, it doesn't.
Just like,
I'm middle class. It's not gonna make me look inside anywhere.
No, it looks inside our society.
Not really.
Yes, it does. Don't lie.
No, it doesn't. Because I don't think about it. Like, I'm not gonna be like, God. I'm not gonna go outside and think, oh, there must be a crazy person living in my basement. Okay.
No. Moving on. You're looking at it so service level.
Moving on. I'm just saying that you can make that argument for any movie. If it's not rewatchable.
For me personally, a good judge of whether a movie is good or not for me is whether I want to rewatch it. Because I think a movie needs to be enjoyed many times. I think
that's the difference.
If you watch a movie and you don't want to watch it again, that's a good sense of if you like it or not, in my opinion.
I agree to disagree. Okay. I think it makes a movie an A+, maybe, if you want to rewatch it and it's good. But
that's true.
I think the story was great. I think they tackled a lot of things that a lot of movies have never. They tackled miscarriage.
Oh, they did.
They tackled old people. And I don't even like old people, but this movie made me be like, you know what, old man's all right sometimes.
No, see, that made me not like old people
anymore. I will never forget the scene where the house is where they wanted it to be. That is beautiful. Second of all,
I'm giving Anne like a blank stare right now because I literally don't remember anything about this movie.
Basically, they wanted to live on Paradise Island, and the house ended up there in the end. So it's very ambiguous, symbolic. I love that the old man found joy in other things than his wife at the end. I think that's a great lesson because I feel like I'm not an old person, but I can imagine that when I'm old and my so-called hubby that I may or may not have dies, do you know how messed up I'm going to be? I'm going to be like, what do I have to do now? What put me in the old folks home till I rot. But
oh my goodness.
Maybe a Boy Scout will help me go to Paradise Island. So
okay,
anyways, I'm supposed to give it a grade 2. Chill.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. I would give it an A. That's just obvious.
Okay.
It doesn't get an A plus because yes, I agree. It's not that rewatchable because it's very sad. But I think that's not a reason to not like it. Anyways, moving on.
So next is Anne's final movie that she hates that people like.
Oh, y'all aren't. This is a little new for you.
Anne has a very passionate stance on this movie.
I'm always passionate, so.
But this one especially, like we literally had a fight about this.
We did, and you guys literally didn't bring up any good points, so just want to point that out. So I'm excited to see what you're gonna say. So I'm excited.
I'm gonna just hold my tongue for this one.
Till your part, yes.
Okay.
Frozen 2. This movie is T.
A pause.
This movie is T. This movie is TRASH. Trash. Okay? I had to spell it out for y'all because it's that bad. I know you're going to be clutching your little your curls. Your pearls. Clutch your pearls and hold on to them tight. Yeah, you do that.
I'm not wearing any pearls.
Listen, Disney really tried to insult my intelligence with this one. Disclaimer, I've only watched it once, but once was enough.
So have I, I watched it in theaters.
Didn't feel like watching it again when I came out of it. I was like, I really don't need to see this.
I have to agree. Like, I don't think I'll watch it again.
And, like, I've never felt that with a lot of animated movies. I'm like, bro, I'm going to watch it again.
And is our resident animated movie
and this one I was like, I really don't need to see ever again. Ever. You know, I also felt that about Finding Dory, which is...
Oh, yeah. No.
Finding Dory was just like, whatever.
It was fine.
Sorry.
Like, whatever.
Off track.
Anyways.
It felt like 3 different people with 3 different stories came together and were like, let's make a movie. and then they animated it.
They're at the table and they're like, that's a good idea. That's also a good idea. Let's just do them all.
Yeah. Okay, so I just want you to do me a favor and look up Anna's mom, okay? Apparently she's a race bender, because if you literally take her picture from when she was younger and take a picture
really reached
of when she managed to change hair color, hair texture.
If you haven't watched Frozen 2,
and skin color.
Yeah, if you haven't watched Frozen 2, basically they revealed that Anna's and Elsa's mom is actually like
an indigenous
person.
That's not a problem.
From a tribe who like saved their dad, and then that's when they got married.
It's not a problem that she's indigenous, because that's totally possible. Indigenous people of all lands look different, because, you know, they're just native to the land, right?
But the group that she came from were not white.
Why didn't you make all of them Caucasians? I wouldn't have
had a problem with
I wouldn't have looked twice. Or at least don't pick her to be... Like, you should have made her mother indigenous, because that would have made sense. And her mother is indigenous and marries a white man, and then kid turns out white. That's totally possible. But don't make her the indigenous person, and then she race bends. I just don't think that's okay. All right.
Valid. That's a valid point.
Kristoff, who appeared in the movie for 5 minutes, had more chemistry with the reindeer guy than his actual fiance. By the end of the movie, I didn't want them to be together. Like, I was like, Anna...
It was just annoying how they kept missing each other.
Anna was doing stupid things. Like, he's like, oh, you remember I told you it would be crazy to marry? And she's like, you think I'm crazy? And I'm like,
I hated that.
Why would you talk like this? Like, I'm like, honestly... Anna's charm in the first movie was her being really, like, cute and quirky and relatable. Now she's some stupid, like, little ditzy little girl who can't understand normal vernacular. Like, get out of here. No. And also, let me just talk. You're going to bring in all these people of color, side characters, but then not concentrate on them at all. Like, the black guy shows up for 5 minutes of the movie. Yeah. Shows up to 5 minutes at the end. What's his name? I don't know. What's his story? I don't know. Because they don't care. They do not care. Yeah. Also, are we just going to gloss over the fact that they were stuck in there for 35 years? That's traumatic. Like...
But they probably didn't realize that much time was passing. No, but the
soldiers were in there for 35 years. So were they just camping away from the indigenous people? Did they work together? Like, because they just appeared in the forest and they were like, huh? Like, was the enchanted forest so enchanted that they were, like, asleep the entire time and they didn't know? Because they really
I feel like maybe their concept of time was like warped a little bit. Yes. They probably only thought it was like
that's what I'm assuming, but they should have made that clear. Like they should have been like, no, like we just finished the fight, like something like that. Maybe honestly, I only watched one, so I don't really know, but I don't remember being clear on like, do they know that they've been in there for like a long time? Like, did they not feel it at all? They should have made that clear.
Interesting.
The inconsistency with the elements. Okay. I know they stole from Avatar The Last Airbender, but they also didn't learn anything from Avatar The Last Airbender, okay? They didn't learn how to make a good plot.
They watched the theme song and said, okay, we're good.
That's literally they're like, fire, water, earth, air. And they're like,
long ago.
Long ago? Let's just take that. That's it. And there's like ethnic music in the background. And they're like, yes, let's take that too. Mama, you know, Anna, Elsa.
They watched the very first scene with Katara and her brother. And they're like, there we go. Yes. There's our idea.
Oh my God.
End that shit right now.
Yes.
We're good.
They really did that. I don't like the inconsistency with the elements. Like, why is the fire spirit a salamander, but then the rocks are freaking like huge boulder things, and then the wind is a gale? Miss me with that, okay? And then, the worst part of all, the fifth element, ice. Elsa is the fifth element. Make that make sense, okay? Porque why is ice in the middle of fire, water, earth, and air? Do together they make that? Also, they're like, at the end, they're like, she must protect the whatever. Protect from what? What was the dam? White people are going to continue to build stuff. So, sorry, Elsa. Just you wait.
Unfortunately, colonization will happen.
I'll continue. Just you wait a few years. Elsa gonna be dead, and then so are those trees, okay? Last.
I was going to say, you may want to wrap it up.
I know I'm really ranting. Maybe, okay. Last part. There were essentially no stakes, if you really think about it. The dam, they broke it down, right? And it was supposed to be a symbolism of their sacrifice for what their ancestors did to screw over the indigenous people of their land.
Right.
But what happens? Elsa just goes bloop, with her little powers, and then the water doesn't even affect Arendelle. So they just walk right back. So we're exactly where we started in the beginning of the movie, basically.
Well, they got them out of the forest.
Okay.
And then they saved the town from being flooded.
The town should have been flooded because it was built on a lie. That would have been like, you know, justice. Like I would have felt like there's
reparations.
Yeah. Essentially. And then also after I'm kidding you not, all the good things happen within 5 minutes in the movie. She saves the town, the water there. You find out that Elsa's alive in that 5 minutes. You find out that Olaf is alive in those 5 minutes. You find out that Kristoff and Anna are about to get engaged. The man literally proposes on the beach after they've had like a fight the entire movie. So I'm like, how did you wrap up everything in the movie in those 5 minutes if it's not through a song? If it's through a song, I'll let you do whatever.
I'll let it slide.
Also, the songs were not as catchy. That's the reason
I only remember one song.
Exactly. That's the reason they didn't get nominated for the Oscar. It was not a good movie. That's why.
Interesting.
It's just a fact. Disney has not been out of the animation category in the Oscars since Frozen 6 years ago. And this is the first time they're not nominated for anything. And that's because it was trash.
Interesting. So what grade would you give Frozen to?
A C+.
I'll say that's not as low as I thought you were going to give it.
No.
I thought you were going to go full like D-.
No. I can't because there was still story. You know,
and the animation was really cool.
The animation was beautiful. That's probably what gets a C+.
Yeah.
No, actually, I'll give it a C.
I mean, my opinion, honestly, I feel like I don't really have an opinion. I watched it in theaters and I liked it when I watched it in theaters. Like, I enjoyed myself.
Oh, sorry. I should say, sorry, but before cutting you.
Oh, we keep forgetting the scores.
So, on Rotten Tomatoes, it got a 77. And audience, 92% of them liked it on Rotten Tomatoes. That's why I was like, y'all are stupid, but whatever.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't mind it at first. I feel like Anne's like slowly convincing me that it was bad. Just because she keeps telling me how bad it is. And I'm like, I can't argue with that. Like,
they're all facts.
When she says all these things, I'm like, I guess I can argue, but I don't hate it. Like, I don't mind it. She just really hates it. Like, she fully hates it. And I'm like,
it's because I'm such a fan that it's like, when you deliver, that's like Game of Thrones people, how they, and I'm one of them.
I'm one of them.
How they felt like by the ending. Like, I feel like if someone just joined last minute.
But I think my inability to actually hate anything
true,
comes in the way, because even though the Game of Thrones ending was bad, I didn't hate it either. It was kind of like, okay, It's there.
No.
I can at least watch it.
I just get so invested that I'm like, you really wasted 4 years of my life.
That's
Thanks.
true.
Thanks for that.
That's true.
Anyways. And it took them 6 years to make Frozen 2. 6 years to do that. So. Sorry.
Anyways, Disney.
Do better.
You fumbled the bag with that one.
You really did. You lost me.
Okay, that was our last movie that we hate that other people love. So now we're going to move on to a little more lighthearted section of movies we love that people tend to hate or just probably got really bad reviews.
Yeah.
We're trying to make our podcast a little more concise. Yes. I feel like our last couple ones have been a bit long, so we're trying to not drag it on.
Yes.
We just get very invested in our opinions. So this might just be, it doesn't necessarily have to be movies that we think are good. It could be movies that we just personally enjoy.
Like we might not think critically are good, but like we enjoy watching.
Yeah, they don't necessarily have to be movies that people don't like, but maybe just didn't really get good critic reviews.
Yeah,
people didn't really talk about that much.
Yeah,
not really, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So I guess we'll start out with mine. So my first one is a little movie called The Host. No, not the Bong Joon-ho movie, The Host, because I feel like when you Google it now, that's what comes up, which is really sad. Because not sad, it's good for Bong Joon-ho because he's super popular now. But it's a movie based on a book by Stephenie Meyer. If that name sounds familiar, she wrote the Twilight series. She also wrote a different series.
I think some people just clicked off.
No, yeah. So she wrote a different book series called The Host, and I read the book for it, and then I watched the movie. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. It is a really bad movie. It's really bad. The premise is basically it has an interesting premise. I like the premise. So it's like about 100 years in the future, and this alien race invades Earth, and they are like these little aliens, and then they take over human bodies, and then they live in the human bodies, and that's it. But then there's like little human like resistance groups, and it's about this girl who's in a resistance group, blah blah blah. She gets invaded, like she gets parasited. I don't know what the word is.
She gets
an alien injected into her, and anyways, so it's like a romance, like love triangle dystopian thing, and like I said, it's really cringy. It's pretty bad. The plot, there's a lot of plot holes. The dialogue is super dramatic, like over dramatic and cringy. The acting, except for Saoirse Ronan, I love Saoirse Ronan.
I think you're just a fan of her because all the movies
I just love Saoirse Ronan in general. I'm such a huge fan of her, and she's in this movie, by the way. Like, I just feel bad that that's on her repertoire. Just like it's not a good movie, but she did good in it. I like her. Everyone else, not so much. But I just love it. I think I just watched it. I first watched it when I was super into my like dystopian young adult like phase, so it just has that like kind of nostalgia to me, and like the romance is just like, I'm just such a I'm a sucker for any kind of romance. So it's cute how like it's like a love triangle that actually ends not properly, but that actually ends in like an okay way, like not where one person has to be disappointed. Like, hey, he's in love with the alien, he's in love with the girl, but they're in the same body, let's put them in two different bodies, now they're all good. And I like that. The ending was like super satisfying to me.
It's an unusual love triangle.
It's a very unusual love triangle.
It's technically a square, but it's weird.
Yeah, it's technically two different people, but it's two different people in the same body, and one of them happens to be an alien. But yeah, I don't know, I just found the ending super satisfying. I like the like setting. I like the whole desert like setting. They're in this like desert cave or whatever. Although I did find it kind of weird how they kept killing all the POC characters.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I was watching it again yesterday. I didn't notice that first, but I was watching this yesterday. I'm like, why is every POC character dying for no reason? Because they obviously, there's a lot of people that die in this movie in like pretty gruesome ways, but they kept killing the POC, mostly the black people in this movie, but doesn't matter. Anyway, well, it does matter. Anyways, not important to the movie.
Oh, I have a point after this. I'm gonna.
Yeah. So I just like the movie. I don't know. I literally can't tell you what it is about it. The kid is cute. There's like a little brother in it. He's super cute. I don't know. I just like it. Okay. I'm not going to tell you to go watch it. If you want to just want something different to watch one night, I would suggest it. Just something different. And yeah, it's the movie that introduced me to Radioactive by Imagine Dragons, because it plays at the end of the movie. And it was like right when it had come out.
I know they put in the trailer.
And it was in the trailer.
I was a fan of Imagine Dragons before.
See, I wasn't. So it was in the trailer, and that's what introduced me to Imagine Dragons, and then I started my Imagine Dragons phase.
I was in love with Imagine Dragons. Like, I would listen to their songs and cry like a weirdo.
So anyways, yeah, that's me for the host. If I were to give it a grade, listen, objectively, I would give it like a C. My opinion, I give it like an A-, just because I love watching it. I've watched it so many times.
Say what they got on.
Oh my god. Okay, so on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 9%. Like, we're in the single digits at this point. I've never heard of a movie that low. And then the audience actually is not as bad. It's 49% on Rotten Tomatoes, but 89% on Google.
Yeah, but Google is, all the fans are the only ones, including you.
So, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna give my 2 cents, okay? The Host is a bad movie.
Of course it is.
It's a bad movie.
I'm aware.
I'm not a movie expert, so I usually don't notice things, really. Especially when it comes to directing. Like, for the longest time, I didn't even know what a director did. When I watch this movie, I can actually tell that the director is not good. Like, I'm like,
no.
There's a lot of scenes where I'm like, what?
Like what? Like which ones?
First of all, the violence where she's like hitting them at the beginning.
Oh, it's like super bad. It's really bad.
That's not the director's fault. That's just bad, whatever.
I think they didn't have the budget for a good fighting.
The parts where I'm like, the director is not even good, because you can be a good director with a low budget movie.
That's
like
true,
directing isn't. I don't think is whatever. But the shot where she's thinking over, where the part where they ended up killing some of the parasite, and she's like, no, and she goes into place. The part where she's like sitting in a room, and then the sun and the moon is like going over her face. Like, I'm like,
wait, why do I not remember that?
Okay, well, she's sitting in the cave, and
I remember that scene, but I don't remember
her
the sun.
Boy toy is sitting in the
which
blonde
one?
The blonde one.
They're all blonde.
The skinny one.
They're all skinny.
Ian.
Oh, Ian. Okay.
He's sitting out, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna wait for you." And Martha or Wanda, whatever, is all like, "Oh, what?" And she's like looking in the distance, and then it shows a shot of outside, and the sun is like moving.
Oh, I see.
But the sun doesn't even move. Like, they're not even insinuating that time is passing. They're just doing a cut shot of her being sad, and then the moon.
Yeah, I didn't realize it had been 3 days until after when she's like,
Yes.
"It's been 3 days, Melanie." And
I know.
I'm like, wait, it has?
Like, y'all did not do that, right?
Let me roast my own movie for a second too.
What?
I just hated it too about the whole thing where it's like, if you want to get Melanie back, you have to kiss me.
Ew. I was about to say that.
That whole thing.
That's such a Stephanie Meyer thing.
It was
she's like
funny.
kisses are like mandatory. Like, it's not like you're gonna do, like, even in Twilight where she's like, Jacob, kiss me so you don't kill yourself.
Tell it's Stephanie Meyer, because it's like to get, because Melanie, like the actual girl who got invaded by the alien, like her brain still works, but the alien controls her body. So like sometimes Melanie will just like disappear. Like the alien's like, "Whoa, Melanie, where'd you go? Like you're supposed to be in my head."
She should get her old
so
boy toy.
to get Melanie to come back, she has to kiss Melanie's boyfriend.
It's just like, like, it's like, how can we get horny teenagers to like this movie? Let's have a bunch of makeout.
Me as a 15-year-old, yes. Okay, what would you grade it?
Wait.
Oh, you're not done yet?
This is one big thing. Okay, let me say 2 big
We're definitely going to go over an hour again.
Yes. First things, the dialogue you said was so cringy. It was
of course it is.
Crazy.
Of course it is.
Everything was resolved way too quickly.
Strange world.
It was
the strangest.
Yeah. It was resolved way too quickly. Like, the Seeker, we spent half of our time following her, but then she ends up getting shot in like 2 minutes, and I was like, "What?" I thought she was like invincible. Like, they made it seem like she was cool. And last thing, again with,
but it was nice at the end. She got the girl.
Yeah, whatever. The only white person got saved first. Okay. And also the part where she's stealing the medicine for her brother, they kept going back to him on the bed, right? Nothing was happening. Like, there was
the infection was like going through his bloodstream.
But they were just showing him lying on the bed and then zooming, like doing like these crossfades. And like, it's not necessary. Like, I'm more interested in her trying to escape from the hospital, which was super easy, by the way. And then I'm like, okay, they're gonna show her brother like passing out or like, you know, having a seizure, because usually that's what happens in movies. Like, they're gonna, like, you don't show something to an audience if nothing's actually gonna happen. Like, don't do crossfades of 2 different scenes if her brother's just gonna be like he's a veggie. Like, he didn't need to do anything. That's what I mean by like bad directing. I guess those scenes didn't need to be put in those ways. Like, it was just weird.
Yeah, so what would you grade it?
You know what? This movie could have gotten a better grade if they had put her body in the body of a person of color. Wouldn't that have been interesting?
That would have been good. I bet you they were waiting. This probably does not make sense to anyone that hasn't seen the movie, but at the end of the movie, just really quick, they take the alien out and put her in a different body so that everyone's happy.
Yeah.
Because they find out how to properly transfer alien whatever thingies, and then they put her into this like little short little white girl.
Yeah.
And my thing is like, they probably were waiting for a girl that would, because they wouldn't have put him in a boy. Like, they wouldn't have put.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
Because the alien was in love with this
like
guy.
an old lady.
Or like an old lady. They were waiting for probably a very suitable girl for this boy.
Yeah, they're like, oh, she cute. He's looking at corpses. Yeah,
she cute. Let's wait. Okay. Is she gonna die? Yes, she died. Okay, put the alien in there.
They should have done it. People of color. That would have been
really
probably
interesting. Sounds so weird to people who haven't seen the movie, but it's good. I like it. It's interesting.
If I was a teacher, we like to say this. If I was a teacher and my student brought me this movie, I would tell them to redo the assignment.
Oh,
that's how bad it is. Yeah. I don't know if there's 9% is obviously,
it's a little extreme.
That's obviously fans who read the books
probably in the
were mad about how trashy
I read the book and it was pretty good.
So they were probably like, I would be pissed too. Like if I read the book and this is what they came up with. Like I felt that way about Percy Jackson. Like I was really mad about it. Oh yeah,
for sure.
Even though Percy Jackson's movie isn't bad, it's just like I was just. It just doesn't make sense. It's not what it is. So no, it would get a 49, as in like you need to redo this assignment. Maybe a 40.
Yeah. Okay, we should move on because we said we were not going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of time. We better. Okay. We'll try to go through these ones a bit quicker. Just the host, there's a lot to unpack. It's the lowest rated one out of all the ones that we love that people hate. So I think that's why we have to get into it more.
Yeah. So now the movie that I love that people hate, he's just not that into you. Oh, bruh, this movie is one of my favorites of all times. I'm showing my daughter this movie. That's how serious I feel about it. I love this movie.
Before you continue, on Rotten Tomatoes, it got 41%.
Yes.
Audience score 59 on Rotten Tomatoes, 89% on Google.
See, like I didn't expect Rotten Tomatoes to rate it high. Because, we all know that... Those kind
of rom-coms never get high ratings.
Critics are obviously biased to romantic comedies at all times. I'm just surprised by the audience score. That's what surprised me the most. I thought people would like it better. I love the lesson that they taught us. Because we are taught as little girls that if a guy is mean to you or if he teases you, that he probably likes you.
I like the whole storyline with like Justin Long's character.
Yes, Alex and Gigi. Where she learns that she's like, oh, this guy's not calling me, like maybe all this stuff. It's like maybe he doesn't like you and you should move on. Yeah. I feel like for girls, that's actually a really hard concept to grasp. Like we're like, no, like boys are playing hard to get. Boys, it's like no. When a guy likes you,
I felt personally attacked by that movie.
I did. Gigi was my character. My favorite line of the movie is when she's like, so I'm just supposed to run away from any guy that doesn't like me, and he's like, yeah, and she's like, but there's not going to be anybody left.
I love that.
It's like my favorite thing.
Oh my god!
I just love this
movie. It's a good movie. I like it.
I think it's good. I love Jennifer Aniston's plot point too. They show a lot of people getting into screwed up love situations.
I personally love those type of movies where it's like all these different storylines.
I think it's cute.
Intertwined. Like I'm trying to think like what to expect when you're expecting like those type of movies where it's like all those different storylines that make sense together. I love those type of movies.
And I think
what's it called? How to Think Like a Man. Think Like a Man. Those type of movies. Those are good.
Yeah. I just think like a lot of movies do that sometimes fall into the trap where one of the stories is like less interesting. I didn't feel that in this movie.
Right.
And I love it.
I want to watch it again, I think
it's so good.
Yeah, I agree.
I would give this movie, like critically, I would give it a 75. Like if I'm a teacher, I'm like, this is 75. For me, obviously, I would give it like an 84 because I think
I want to go watch it again.
I think it teaches. I think a lot of rom-coms don't teach you good lessons, and
but this one does teach you a lesson. It does teach you need to know your worth.
And a lot of people are like, oh, she ends up with the guy anyways. I'm like, no. After he apologized for how he acted and was like, I'm, XYZ. That's move on. That's how I feel.
Yeah. Okay. So my next one is I don't know if like people hate this one. I think it just didn't get the recognition it deserves. Well, it has a pretty low score on Rotten Tomatoes. It's The Lovely Bones. Yes, another Saoirse Ronan movie. I love Saoirse Ronan. I think this is like one of her first movies. She's pretty young in this one. It has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 32%, which is criminally low, I think, for this movie. The audience score is 52%, which also is a crime against humanity. 92% on Google, which is more my speed. So if you haven't seen The Lovely Bones, it's a movie about a 14-year-old girl, Saoirse Ronan's character, and set in like the 70s or something like that, and she, pretty gruesome, gets raped and murdered. And
she's a child, right?
Yeah, and she goes to like not heaven, it's called like the in-between, where she's like kind of stuck in this like limbo because like she has a lot of unresolved like things, and her family's like trying to figure out who killed her, and we know who killed her. It's this like man, like their next door neighbor, who's played by Stanley Tucci.
I don't know,
the guy from Caesar Flickerman from The Hunger Games. the husband from Julia Child. You know who it is. It's that one actor.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
I'll look it up.
You don't know?
Just keep talking. You're wasting time.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. Okay, anyways, I'm just saying that because his performance in this movie was impeccable. He did a really good performance as like the murderer.
I like him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's super creepy.
What? He's a murderer in this movie? I cannot.
He has range. Wow. He has the range. He is such a good actor. Anyways, yeah, he had like this super creepy like white man with a mustache, like poor like predator dude. And I find the acting amazing. I think the story is really good.
Oh, like, Mark Wahlberg is in it.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg plays the dad. And I just love this movie. I like the premise of it. It really like it's kind of dark. I mean, it shows like he didn't just murder her. He murdered a bunch of other girls too, and like she meets all those other girls and like the in between, and it's just like a really like I feel like it really just like I don't know how to explain the feeling of watching it, but I feel like you just like disconnect from reality a little bit, and then it kind of like brings you back, and you're like, oh my god, like
wouldn't that movie be depressing, Monica?
It is, but it's depressing in a different way.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I like how the ending's like super bittersweet. In my opinion, I just like it's really like kind of ending where it's happy but also realistic, hopeful yet also kind of like blunt. You just watch the movie. It's on Netflix. Go watch it. And the cinematography is really cool too. Yeah, if I were to give it a grade, I'd give it an A. It was my favorite movie growing up. I think I watched it when I was in like 8th grade or something like that. Maybe an A-. I'll be a little more realistic.
No, I'm just shocked that was your favorite movie.
Oh, it was. I remember in 8th grade.
Depressing.
In 8th grade, we had to do a little like hamburger paragraph. You remember those?
Oh yes.
And the topic was just our favorite movie, and I did mine about The Lovely Bones because that was my favorite movie back then.
What year was that?
It was 2013.
Was Tangled out? That's probably why.
2013, 2014.
Yeah, Tangled is out. So that's
yeah, I loved that movie growing up. I don't know why. It's pretty dark.
Yeah.
But I just liked it.
That would be my argument.
My introduction to Saoirse Ronan.
That would be my argument for why I wouldn't rate it high, is because I think its rewatchability would be low because it's so...
But that's what I'm saying. I've seen it so many times. And it's also
really, I know, but that's weird.
It's like a thriller, too, because like there's this whole scene where the girl's sister's trying to like find evidence, and she's in his house, and then he starts like chasing her, and it's like super...
I know, but that's intense. Creepy. I don't know. Anyways, like in terms of... I don't think it's about in terms of critic, whatever. I haven't seen it, so I can't say that. But in terms of like, this is a movie that people should have on their list, I don't know.
Well, it's not really graphic about the whole... It's not really about her getting murdered. It's just about her and how she deals with it later.
I know, but I think just the idea...
But it's pretty, graphic.
Yeah, I think that's the same reason why, like, I haven't personally watched 13 Reasons Why.
Oh, no, it's just... No.
No, that's not the... Yeah. Obviously, it's not the same. But I'm saying... I know the girl's dead. So it's kind of like already the story starts on a low note, and it can never get better because this girl's... I mean, it can, but like... Yeah. This girl's already dead. Like, I just feel like there's no hope.
I mean, the premise behind the name The Lovely Bones is like super nice. Like the reason why...
Because he keeps her stuff in his house, doesn't he?
No. It's called The Lovely Bones because at the end there's a quote where she's like, it's the lovely bones that grew around my absence or something. Like how the void of her absence and her family was like filled eventually. Like they all kind of moved on, and these bones kind of grew in and like stabilized them. I forgot the actual quote.
I feel like that's just very sad.
Yeah,
that's what I was like.
It's a sad movie, but
I'm not gonna watch that one. That's the one where I was like, I can't. I'm sorry. Okay, little girl dead.
Next,
it's my turn. Pick. Iron Man 2. Okay. I didn't know what the score was on Rotten Tomatoes when I put this on my list. Because it got a 73. And I honestly, on Rotten Tomatoes. And I think that's actually really fair. But in terms of the MCU universe, a lot of people like come down on this movie. And I'm like, bruh, it's really not that bad. Yes. Were there too many subplots on subplots on subplots? I agree. There were too many.
I have not watched this movie, by the way.
But... it still has charming Tony. I like that. Pepper Potts had more of a bigger role. I like that. And I had a good time. What more do you want? What more do you want? So, like,
I honestly never really heard much about this one.
Yeah.
I feel like it's mostly just, like, people don't really talk about it. That's why maybe it's underrated.
I mean, yeah, and also it was a long time ago, so people are going to talk about the new stuff. I'm just saying, there's, like, definitely way worse MCU movies we got under our belt, okay?
Like so, what? Name us some.
Name one. Thor: The Dark World. You don't need to watch that one.
That's Thor 2.
I didn't really like. Sorry, people are gonna scream at me for this. I didn't like Ant-Man at all. Really,
I haven't watched Ant-Man.
Yeah, you don't need to.
Okay.
I also didn't really like Captain Marvel. Like I thought her character.
I thought it was okay.
I thought her character was super unlikable. I thought the side characters made her like tolerable, if that makes sense.
Oh right.
So like. I don't know. And I think, like, if I can't even sympathize with my main character, it's kind of hard for me to like the movie at all, really. Right. So that's how I felt about that. But Iron Man 2, it's, like, it's got some really great moments, especially the courthouse scene. I'll just explain it for you fast and really fast. There's this part where the government is trying to seize Iron Man's suit because they're like, it's a weapon. And he's like... no, it's like it's like a super crazy prosthetic because whatever. But they're trying to get it. It kind of shows like the government would totally try to take his armor. Like that's definitely something they would do. Like they'd be like, we don't want a citizen having some type of weapon that we can't. But then it's like if the government gets a hold of it, they're gonna make 3,000 of them and then go try to bomb another country. You know what's up. We know what's what happened. So there's an entire scene in the court where he's like, I have privatized safety, like or world peace, and then they were like everyone's clapping. So I thought that was pretty cool. It was like a more realistic conversation that would actually happen. If I like when they bring superheroes down to a normal like setting, like if you were to have Superman in real life, like how would people actually react to him being alive or being around? So that's why I like Iron Man 2.
Okay. Yeah. What would you grade it?
A 74.
Oh yeah, you said that. Yeah,
74. It's got a 73. I think it's fine. It's
I honestly haven't seen it, so I can't really give it a grade.
It's entertaining. That's what
I don't really want to watch it. Like it's not a movie. I want to watch it. Like sometimes I'm like maybe I should watch like every Marvel movie, but then I'm like I don't have the time.
No, and I think it's the same thing. Yeah, it's just like not a bad movie. Okay, it's your turn.
So my last movie that I love is a strong word. I don't love this movie. I like it. It's a good movie. That people didn't really like is John Carter. I feel like maybe some people are like, oh my god, that movie. Like it's kind of a movie you forget about until you're like, oh yeah. It's not like one Disney movie with like Taylor Kitsch or whatever, where he's like he goes to Mars. Barsoom, whatever it's called.
Barsoom.
He goes to Mars, and then there's like aliens and princesses and all this like war between planets and whatever. And then at the end, he like travels back in time, and this is like the very I don't know if it's time travel actually. I was gonna say it's the rare occasion where I like time travel, but I don't think it's really considered. It's time travel. It's like teleportation.
No, it's not. It's because Mars spins faster than Earth, so time goes by faster.
Right. Yeah, that's what it is. Anyway, that's the rationale. This movie actually on Rotten Tomatoes is not too bad. It has a 52%. Audience score 60% on Rotten Tomatoes and 90% on Google. It also like flopped hard at the box office. It's one of the most expensive movies ever made. I didn't know that. Yep, I think it's like the 9th most expensive movie ever made. I guess for the CGI. And it didn't make up its budget in the box office. So like Disney kind of like lost a lot of money making it. But I enjoyed it. I like it. It's like pretty epic. It's like the graphics are like really, really good. The story's pretty interesting. I love the ending. Like obviously I'm just gonna spoil the ending right now, but at the ending it's like he faked his own death and then made this whole plan, like the super genius plan to get back onto Mars, and then the ending is him like holding the medallion and like saying the little like phrase they have to say to travel to Mars, and he says it, and then the like movie cuts out. I love the ending. I thought it was super cool. And yeah, I remember I watched it and I was like, oh, this is really good. I watched it in theaters, I'm pretty sure. And then after a while I looked it up and then it said like, oh yeah, I bombed at the box office, and I was like, oh, why? It was good. Why? Like I don't think it's like amazing, but I had a feel. I think they were trying to make like a whole series, but because it flopped so bad, they're like, no, we can't.
Because it's based off of books.
Yeah, it's based off a series of books, like a super classic book from like 100 years ago. Like I think it's like from 1912 or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I was kind of just sad. I'm like, I like this movie. So yeah.
What grade would you give the movie?
I'd give it like a B. B or B plus. Like it's pretty interesting. Yeah. Like it's kind of confusing. The whole like war thing is kind of confusing, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's not a bad movie. Like I think it would have been actually kind of cool if they finished the series. I don't think it would have been bad.
The acting was good. Like it's good.
I actually it made me want to see a second movie because of the ending. I agree with you. The ending
is so cool. Like when you're like, it's actually like, I was so shocked. I was like, whoa. Like
the beginning was I think the worst part, like the entire part where he's on Earth. Like I was like, they
had to like build his character up a little bit.
They could have done it better.
Yeah,
that's it. Especially don't introduce these random characters
if they're not going to be important.
Like it's like it's not even that. It's just like they didn't explain it well enough. Like I was actually really confused at the beginning with his whole thing. Like I was like, who is he? What does he do?
Yeah.
I have a few notes though.
Oh.
The red people. Didn't love that because I was like, they kind of look indigenous.
I was gonna say also I discovered yesterday after looking it up that in my mind, so the princess of like Mars that he marries, I'm pretty sure she's either supposed to be like sort of like Middle Eastern, Native American kind of looking, even maybe South Asian looking.
Yeah.
But the actress is white, so I was really confused.
Oh, did they tan her?
I don't know. I think so. I haven't watched this movie in a while, but I was curious. I'm like that because I have a memory of her being like super pretty, and I remember being like, oh my god, like and she kind of looked like either like Middle Eastern or like Persian, kind of almost like that. Yeah. But then I looked up the actress and she was white, so I'm like, maybe I'm just remembering it wrong, or maybe they just tanned her really dark.
I don't know, because
Mars, the way they portray Mars in the movies, like it's the super like hot like desert.
Yeah, which is what Mars is. Yeah,
which makes sense. Place. So I'm like, even if she was white, okay, maybe she'd be a little bit tan. So like, whatever.
It's just the red part, and then a lot of them were like semi-indigenous looking. So I was like, eh. And then they were doing a lot of garments that like maybe definitely not Caucasian people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even then John Carter's character, he was super white in the beginning, but obviously when he started staying on Mars, he started getting more like tan. Like it made sense because it's super like hot place.
I just thought also the movie's too long. It's
pretty long.
It's 2 hours and 20 minutes. There's a lot of parts they could have like cut out.
Yeah.
Like, especially the beginning. The beginning is like 30 minutes long.
Oh, really? Like I said, I haven't seen it in a couple. I literally watched it yesterday. I haven't seen it in years, but
like,
I liked it.
They're on Earth for 30 minutes. I was like, very unnecessary.
Get to Mars now.
Yes. Because I'm like, you start in Mars too, and you have this whole battle scene, and then you go back to Earth for him to be boring for like 30 minutes. Like, that's not it. Yeah. That ain't it, fam.
Anyways,
so that one should just.
Yeah. I think it's a good. I honestly would recommend it. If you're looking for something different, if you haven't seen it, I would recommend it. Yeah. Even though we spoiled the ending.
I mean, if you got Disney Plus, it doesn't cost you anything.
It's on Disney Plus? Yeah. Last one. Anne's last movie that she loves.
Yes. This is arguably the most trash movie out of all the ones I've picked.
It's pretty trash.
It's just trash. It's a hot piece of garbage that I love. Okay? It's Fired Up. You probably have never heard of this movie.
I hadn't heard it until Anne showed it to me a couple years ago.
It's fair. It's about these two F-boys. These two
douchebags.
These two F-boy douchebags in high school who sign up for the cheerleading team because they're like, bro, we're going to be at camp with a bunch of hot chicks. Yeah. So we're going to get to hit on them all. But they end up learning to love cheerleading. Spoiler alert. If you couldn't tell, you're an idiot. If you couldn't tell that. This movie, it's not good. The acting's not good.
The acting's terrible.
The plot is... Well, the plot is...
It's like any other 2000s.
Yeah,
like,
it's not supposed to be crazy. So the plot is good, I think. Like, the way the plot is what it should be. The acting ain't good, but it cracks me up.
It's funny. It's really funny.
There's literally a scene where his little sister goes, "You can piss on my face, just don't tell me it's raining." I say that all the time now. Are you kidding? I feel like the movie's so quotable. Like, there's so many, like, stupid parts. I just don't understand why it wasn't more popular. That's the thing. Like, I was like...
It's pretty, like, it's R-rated, I'm pretty sure, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's, like, super inappropriate.
Yeah, maybe they should have taken out some parts. Because, honestly, if it was maybe if it was PG-13, it would have done better. Because I'm like, bruh, it's literally on the same caliber. Like, I don't mean, like... Let's say not caliber, the same format type of movie as like Bring It On, Mean Girls. All those movies aren't trying to be smart necessarily.
Exactly.
I mean, Mean Girls was, but I don't think they were trying necessarily to be like, we're gonna be, intelligent. Just like, no, stupid teenagers say stupid stuff. Like,
yeah, it's pretty. It's funny.
So on Rotten Tomatoes, it got a 25%. And audience score is 52%. How dare you?
I've only seen this once. I think, like, I remember literally coming in today. I was like, I was gonna watch Fired Up, but then I didn't have time. So then I was coming in today and I was telling Anne, oh, I haven't seen it. And then she's like, just watch a clip. And I watched a clip and I'm like, oh yeah, I did watch it with her. She literally showed it to me. Like, I literally forgot about it until
hilarious.
now. And it's pretty funny. I just remember watching it. We were all together and it was really funny, like, and we were all laughing.
Yeah, it's a good one. I like it. I would give it. So we got a 25%. Shut up. Double that, my friend.
Give it a 50.
Give it a 50.
Let him pass.
Yes. Because just the heart of the comedy is enough, okay? I think it should have been like
I feel like now more than ever, it's like super like I feel like it did age pretty well. Because, I mean, it's just a bunch of douchebag F-boys going to cheerleading camp. Like, come on.
Can you not see F-boys doing that?
Who cannot find the humor in that?
It's hilarious. You put 2 F-boys in the middle of girl camp. What more do you need? And
2, like, horny.
There's a gay character.
What more could you want?
It's good. And he's not, like, obnoxiously gay. He's just gay. And then he hits on the guy the entire time. And the F-boy doesn't even realize it. He's like, oh, Kenny's just really nice to me.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And he would, like, put his anal beads in his mouth.
Oh, no. Anyways.
That's probably why.
I would also give it, like, a 50. I think that deserves a passing grade.
It does. It does what it needs to do.
D plus. Is that pass? Like a D plus.
A D plus.
A D plus. That's a solid, effort.
A 50, 57.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Oh, I think it's time to wrap it up.
Yes, it is.
This is fun, though.
Yeah, it was. Oh,
all right. So that's it for our episode today. We hope you enjoyed it. And so we're going to do something a little fun. So, we listed, I want to say 12 movies today. So we want you guys to tell us from any of the 12 movies we just named, which one you would want us to do a full episode, a full in-depth review on. It could be any of these episodes. It could be the really bad ones. It could be the really good movies, the ones that we hated, whatever you want.
Yeah.
So you can head over to our Instagram, which we haven't actually talked about yet. We have an Instagram. It's Flick Chicks Pod on Instagram. And usually we post every time we post a new episode. So you can either comment on that post, you can send us a DM, you can contact me or Anne personally. Honestly, we don't care. We just want to know which episode. We have one in mind that we want to do next week if, for some reason, y'all don't want to vote.
If the 2 listeners don't tell us.
Yeah, if the 2 people who listen to this podcast don't want to tell us, we have one in mind that we want to do, but we want to hear if there's one in particular you want to see us do a full episode on next week.
Yeah, and I'm just going to name the movies really quickly.
Yeah, we'll go over it again.
So we have La La Land, Avengers Endgame, The Breakfast Club, Up, Frozen 2, The Host, He's Just Not That Into You, The Lovely Bones, Iron Man 2, John Carter, and Fired Up.
Yep. So you can pick from any of those movies. Just tell us which one you want us to do a full in-depth review. Even if it's one that we think is terrible, we will do it.
Yes.
So go over to our Instagram, Flick Chicks Pod. Follow us.
Follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to this podcast.
Yes.
Give us a good rating.
Like, who doesn't like movies? Tell your friend to listen to us. We're fun. We're fun people. We have funny opinions.
We're all right.
All right, guys. So we'll catch you next week. Bye.
Bye.